All right, my lovers, thank you so much for tuning into the channel. You helped me so much get past 500 subscribers. You don't understand how motivating that is when you're out here making these videos and you don't know, should I be making it? Should I be doing other things with my life? This is my passion though. I love talking smack. I love talking about bikes, and I love getting people amped up about cycling. So thank you so much for all the comment sections, all the likes and everything. Let's talk about our next subject for today. So my last video was about flat bar bikes and why they're generally a good decision for most cyclists. But today I wanted to talk about drop bar bikes. Are they for you? Are you ready to make that next step in your cycling journey? Because I do look at drop bars as a commitment. Once you've kind of ridden long enough and you're like, no, you know what? I want to be cycling for the rest of my life, or I want to be cycling a good amount of the time, then you might be wanting to consider drop bars. And let's go over the pros and the cons. So, what are drop bars? Those are the curved bars that you'll see on road bikes, gravel bikes, and some touring bikes. They give you three main hand positions: on the hoods, on the tops, and on the drops. And the flexibility can be a game changer, especially on long rides. One advantage of drop bar bikes are the aerodynamics and speed. The more aggressive riding position can put you lower and out of the wind's way, less drag, more speed. This is especially useful for road or fast gravel. The multiple hand positions can also lead to less fatigue, and this is huge for endurance. When you're going on rides that are regularly longer than 10 miles and above, being able to switch hand positions helps avoid numbness and fatigue in your wrists, shoulders, and back. Once you've committed to riding regularly, you've committed to riding up steep inclines. You're like, look, I'm gonna take on those hills. When I was riding my flat bar, Walmart bikes, Toys R Us bikes, I was going very short distances and I wasn't really going up many hills at all. So this is for someone who knows, like, look, if you're traveling long distances, you're gonna be dealing with hills. And so being in the hoods can offer you better leverage on climb efficiency so you can stay seated and power up the hills without wasting energy. Very nice and efficient. Drop bar setups are usually lighter than flat bars, and the narrow width makes it great for weaving through traffic or tight trail lines. When you've made the commitment to be on drop bars, you've also made kind of a commitment to share the road with cars. And sometimes those thinner handlebars can help you weave through traffic. Be safe, please, but it's really helpful for getting through tight spaces. Now I want to highlight some of the disadvantages of drop bars. Like I said in my last video with flat bars are more for casual riders, people who know they're not going to be riding all year round. If you know you're going to be riding all year round, you can kind of get used to your bike quicker. But if you don't, then the riding position can be more aggressive on drop bars and less comfortable. And so this isn't always the case, but in a general sense, you're more in a crouched down position. It's a more of an aggressive position. So it takes you like regular riding to get used to it. So unless you're making the commitment, it's not always going to be worth it. Also, it's not really ideal for technical terrain. Having those long flat bars that give you more leverage in steering is really better for when roads get bumpy and you're going off-road. It can even out some of the unevennesses of the surfaces. One of the reasons that I would suggest you really think before you get a drop bar bike is because the modern brifters, which are brake shifters that are all in one, it's just a more expensive setup, meaning you might get a good deal on the bike, but when it's time to do maintenance or swap out components, you're dealing with a more expensive setup generally. And so it's kind of for, if you're someone who commutes and uses it and rides it regularly, then the expense is minimized because you're getting a lot of use out of it. But if you're only doing it once in a while, then I'd probably just stick to the flat bars. I felt like the learning curve of shifting and learning how to use the shifting properly on drop bars is a little bit more complicated. Now, again, if you're riding regularly and you're committed to learning how to shift your bike efficiently, then it's not as big a deal. But if you know you're not going to be riding all the time like that, then it can be confusing. Just in general, I feel that drop bars are a little more sketchy on the road. Like, you don't have the same control, so you have to kind of have that learning curve of learning how to control drop bar bikes in a way that you feel safe on them, just depending on the style of bike. Going downhill and things like that can often feel sketchy in those riding positions. So if you're someone who's kind of more committed to safety rather than speed, with the speed, you're sacrificing some comfort. You're also sacrificing a little bit of the stability on the bike. So you're gonna need to spend more energy into putting control on the road. Some of the reasons that you would choose a drop bar bike for those who are curious. You are a committed cyclist. You ride regularly, whether for fitness, training, or long adventures. Drop bars give you speed, efficiency, and endurance comfort with the multiple hand positions. Or you ride or race competitively. Road races, gravel events, triathlons, cyclocross races, drop bars are the standard for performance. They're built for speed and power. You're a tour rider or you ride long distances, touring, randonneuring, bike packing, drop bars shine when you're in the saddle for long hours at a time. Those hand positions will make a difference. You prioritize speed over comfort. This is kind of like more back to the competitive style. Those of you who are prioritizing speed, you're okay with that slightly more aggressive position to gain efficiency and reduce wind drag. Go for it. So when are they probably not a good decision for you, or you would just stick to the flat bars? Again, if you want more detail on this, watch my video about flat bars, but they're not the best if you're just a casual rider or you go short distances, you're just doing errands, going down to the local shop, and you're not someone who rides all the time. If you want a relaxed, upright posture and you don't want to be bothered with the aggressive position and you just don't care about the speed like that, or you're doing mixed surface riding, or you're riding off-road, it's really better for riding technical trails off-road, and that's why mountain bikes are gonna come pretty standard with flat bars. Or you're on a budget and you really wanna be able to maintain and fix and repair and upgrade your bike for lower cost. Flat bar gives you better options for your drivetrain in terms of upgrading or just making repairs. So the main point of this video is to understand that there's no shame in either style. It's just knowing what you want and making that decision accordingly. I felt that I kind of was pressured into drop bars because everyone around me, that was just the standard. And I think those people had grown up riding bikes, so it was different for them. And when I say grow up riding bikes, I think a lot of us grow up riding bikes, but I mean grow up riding bikes in a more serious way. I grew up riding just around the neighborhood. I rode on the sidewalk. I would never say that I rode like all the time or made a big deal out of riding long distances. And so that's the difference. If you kind of feel like you're just more comfortable on a drop bar, on a flat bar bike, then I would go with that instinct and understand like, hey, there's no shame in it and they're great options for a lot of people. And at the end of the day, the drop bars are a tool. If you go long distances, racing, going faster, it's hard to beat. But if you just want to ride to the cafe or commute without stressing your back, stick with the flats. So what about you? Are you on team drop bar or flat bar? To me, I like them both because, like I said, I was peer pressured into it, and I'm kind of glad I was peer pressured into it because I am really someone who will get used to something. I'll just kind of tough it out. And because I did, I really do see the advantages of both. And so, I'm lucky enough to have both styles. So get in the comment section and let me know kind of what your experiences are with the both. And a lot of people who make the decision, a lot of it is about there's health issues. Some people have back issues, some people have wrist issues, and that informs their decision one way or the other. I don't think it's universal from the feedback I've gotten lately that one is better for the other. I really think it's particular to the rider. And again, that's why this channel is called My Bike Build, because really all bikes are custom and they're built for you. So let me know. We're trying to push to 600 subscribers. And for those of you who are international watchers of this video, please put in the comment section, just for motivation for me to keep making these videos, just put the country of your origin that you're watching from. That's a really motivating factor for me. It really gets me pumped up to make more videos and know that people out there from all over the world are watching. I love that about the internet. So thank you for watching, my lovers, and we'll talk soon.